Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANSgear, and we're going to go through a brief installation of the TiPX remote line adapter kit. So if you have a TiPX or a TiPX and need to run a remote line off of it, or you're tired of running 12 grams into it and you want to run a remote line on it, this is what you're going to do. So we've got a TiPX here, this is a TiPX, and we have a adapter kit that's right here. Now there is some of the older models, the early versions of the TiPX, part of their regulator is different. And when we open this up and look at it, if it looks different than what we're going to see when we open this one up, you would need to contact Tippmann and they would send you the appropriate part. There is a little addendum inside the instruction manual here that kind of explains that if your regulator assembly doesn't look like this, you need to contact them. So we'll open that one up or open this one up and see what we see and kind of give you a lowdown on what you want to do and what your installation process is going to be. So the first thing we're going to do is, obviously we're going to take the magazine out. We're going to set that off to the side. We're going to set our remote adapter off to the side as well. Pretty much everything you see right here, you can leave it as it is. You don't need to pull everything out of it. You can leave the shroud in, you can leave the barrel in. It's up to you how you want to do it. Keep in mind though, if you pull the barrel out, when you go to remove the half of the body, there's a good chance that some of the internals will want to pop out and move out of place. There's some ways around there, some tricks around it. I'll show you the way that I do it and we can go from there. So what I do is I do remove the barrel out. So I'm going to take this off and get it out of the way. I'm going to take this off, get it out of the way. I got my magazine out. I'm going to take all of my set screws out before I remove my body. I've got all those, and this one. And this one also. So I'm going to hold this together. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to push all my screws out the other side to get everything undone. Now if you can't push a screw out all the way, it could be that it's just jammed in there a little bit. So that's why we're pushing them out. So we've got all of our screws out. Now what I do, this top screw that I'm going to push out, what I'm going to do is push it out, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to thread it back through the other side. What this is going to do is it's actually going to hold part of the breech assembly in place. Like that. So when I pull this out, this breech assembly that's right here isn't going to want to move because this screw is coming through it and holding it most of the way in place. So now I'm going to kind of just go around and I'm going to loosen everything up. Hopefully everything kind of stays as it should. And it does. All right. So everything's in there. This screw is holding the block in place right here. Everything is good. We're ready to keep going on our disassembly. So what we need to do from this point is we need to take the regulator out to remove part of the back end out of it. Now, we don't necessarily need to pull it apart. We could get to it by holding it up and taking this set screw out right here, because that's where our remote line is going to screw into it. So let's find the right Allen key here. Going to be our 1/8, I think. It is. So this piece is going to come out just like that. That's going to come out, and that's got a little plug on it. And as you can see, the end of our adapter line looks just like that. So this is actually going to screw in just like that. Now, if you pull this apart and your setup does not look like that, or you have a set screw on the side, or this is missing out the back, you would need to contact Tippmann and they would send you the appropriate replacement part so that then you could set that up and run that through the gun. Now, when this is to this point right here, what you would then do is take, let's see, this piece right here. So this is your left side body. And this piece that you see right in there, you would actually drill it out. This is a plastic piece. There's just a cover on the back there. I think they say a 5/16 drill or whatever. It's in the instruction manual. You can actually drill out this hole right here. What that's going to let you do is pass this piece through it and thread into the back of the regulator back there. Now, I don't want to ruin this body. I don't want to put a hole in it right now. So I'm not going to drill that out. But that's all you need to do. We've got this removed out. We would take a drill that out. We would put it back together. We would run this in and tighten it up. We don't need to use any kind of Loctite or Teflon on this because there's a very fine O-ring on here that's going to seal up inside here. At that point, we've got our pressure coming in, running into our gun. We're ready to go. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward install. You just have to know if you have the right regulator. I mean, if you recently bought a TiPX, you're going to be good. It's only if you have one of the older models that doesn't necessarily have this kind of setup on it. So again, it's very straightforward. You can run your high pressure air at that point. Make sure you're running something with an 800 to 850 output. You don't want to be running anything low pressure or mid pressure just because you might not achieve proper velocity. So if you're looking to do a remote line for your TiPXs, this is the setup that you need. This is the remote line adapter kit from Tippmann. It's available through the website. Order yours now through ANSgear.com.